All right, take three. Try to make this quick. Have you ever remembered conversations or sayings that people had with you growing up, right? As a young person, middle age, young adult, whatever, right? And to this day, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, to this day, you still remember those conversations. I do. I remember certain conversations, the way they were said, the way they said it, how they said it to me, that just sticks with me. I'll give you a couple examples. One, I used to go to my grandfather's house, and he'd pull out his knife because he was all into knives, and I still have some of his knives. And he'd open them up, and he'd run his thumb through there, top of the blade kind of. He said, "Boy, this knife is effing sharp." And the way he said it, I can hear it to this day, right? And I would laugh at it, right? And I was going through some knives, and I thought about that. Another one is a friend of mine from YouTube, Seller 559. I remember doing a video and saying we can agree to disagree, right? We can agree to disagree and still coexist, right? And his response to me was, no, I don't believe we can agree to disagree. I don't believe in that. It's either you agree or you don't, right? And you think one way, I think another way, and if we have to part ways, it is what it is. Now, has he changed the way he thought? I don't know, but knowing Seller the way I do, I'm gonna guess not, and that's not a bad thing, right? You stick to your principles in life, and you stick to your guns, and you live by them, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? And I respect the man. The other thing Seller told me was just he told me a story about his neighbor years ago. He had an old neighbor, and he says I'd go visit him, and I always wish now, looking back, I would have recorded him. And that's what made me record all the videos with my grandfather, was making time to like make sure I get it on film, make sure I get a picture right. And of course it pops up on my feed, you know, from time to time throughout the year, and I'll repost it. Sometimes I don't repost it, but it's there, right? And I see it, and it makes me smile. And I thought, man, I remember that day. I remember how he said it, what he did, how I was laughing up a storm always. He always had me cracking up just because of the way he was, right? He was like a person in the wrong era, right? Because time had changed. And that's another thing. You just have to roll with the punches. Time changes everything, right? It's not the way it used to be and never will be, and we have to move forward. But it does make us sad that time has changed so much, and that we are not the same as we used to be. Is that bad? No, because time evolves, things get better. But just keep being the best you can. Adios.